Hey everybody, Sasquatch here, just checking in. Just wanted to talk about some things related to my diet. Um, I'm back on driven, back into golf. I had been away from professional golf and driven for about close to 3 years, and in that 3 years, I didn't play much golf. Handful of charity tournaments, and occasional 9 holes here and there, but I definitely wasn't doing any training, any kind of taking my body into consideration whatsoever. And this process of wanting to get back into golf and wanting to be back on driven and get back in shape started about a year ago. And it started with, I was dealing with some inflammation and range of motion issues, and I went on kind of what some people would consider an extreme diet, and I became a vegan. So we're in 2021, the beginning of 2020, I became a vegan, and fully committed to plant-based lifestyle, and getting back into some mobility training and trying to get back, really get back to where I was, ultimately with the goal of getting past where I was and being better than I ever had been. And I was a vegan, for just about a year, and I was committed to seeing how it would look, after a full year, fully committed to diet and range of motion and mobility exercises, and it just never really happened. I had some pretty good success as far as weight management and controlling my weight. So I didn't have too many complaints with that. Obviously, I would have liked to lose a few more pounds, but the problem was I was not gaining any range of motion. I was not getting any of the speed that I had in the past before. Not that I was ever the, fastest swinger of the golf club, but for, tour golf, I was what you would consider, a fairly long hitter, But I wasn't getting any of the speed back, and I wasn't getting any recovery. So I basically felt like I was kind of in a rut. I was doing what I felt like were all the right things, and I was still waking up and I was sore, and the soreness was just not going away. So I'd play golf for 3 days in a row, and the whole entire time I'd be sore, and then I'd be sore practicing and stretching the days after, and just felt like I was just completely inflamed. Just had inflammation all throughout my body, my hips, my knees, my ankles, shoulders, back. I just never felt like I ever got to 100%. And fortunately, I get to spend time with Man Bear, and at this same time, coming back to driven and hanging out with him, he had since become a carnivore. And I got to be honest with you, at first when he told me I was a carnivore, and explained what that means, meat, eggs, all animal products only, it seemed extreme, which sounds funny coming from somebody who decided to eat only plants, but we were on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So seeing how he was feeling, though, and starting to do some filming for driven and starting to play some golf again together, and seeing how he's feeling, and knowing him from when he won his world title, and seen him win multiple events, and that was before he was a carnivore, and knowing what he would deal with before he was a carnivore from inflammation and aches and pains, and then seeing him now where it's, later in his career, and you would think he would be, just kind of the natural, I don't want to say decline, but kind of a natural, he'd still be at least dealing with the same things he was dealing with before. Well, he's having, his body's felt better than it's ever felt. It's obvious in his demeanor and the way he carries himself. He's swinging as fast or faster probably than he ever has, and has zero aches and pains. And I've been there with him when he's been at competitions, and it was hard for him to make it through a competition. He was dealing with a lot of different health issues that come from swinging the club so fast, and probably me just kind of connecting the stars, going, that has to be diet, because everything else is adds up. So it kind of piqued my interest in the carnivore diet, and with my goals of being able to go out there and compete again, ultimately get back and play on the PGA Tour again, and quality of life standpoint, I kind of started looking into the carnivore diet and asking him questions about it, and finding some research that's out there, or at least some people who are talking about it. and just kind of opened my mind up to it. And it was a slow process. I thought about it a lot. I prayed about it. And here I am, January 2021, and I've switched. I'm going to give full carnivore a shot for a year, and see where that takes me from an inflammation standpoint. And the icing on the cake at the end of 2020 that really convinced me that I need to do something different was being vegan and still dealing with those inflammation problems and range of motion problems and just overall, feeling good, not feeling that good. I figured, hey, it's at least good for my heart. I have some health issues that I figured, like, hey, being a vegan is 100% good for them. And, I'll give up a little quality of life to, if I feel like I'm doing the right thing and being a good steward of my body. So I ended up getting some blood work at the end of 2020, and, I found out my blood pressure, well, not from the blood work, but I found out my blood pressure was still high. My cholesterol was high, which was shocking to me, and some of my hormones were off. And, I'm sure that could be attributed to all kinds of different things, but it was kind of the final light bulb moment for me. Is like, I'm doing all these things and haven't really seen any improvement. So I'm willing to try anything. And after some research and seeing the results of the Man Bear being on the carnivore, well, here I am. So from vegan, plant-based to carnivore, nothing but meat for this guy now.